We're about to dive into something that isn't just a simple upgrade. It's a whole new way of thinking. We're talking about the incredible fusion of quantum computing and artificial intelligence. And believe me, it's set to change our world in ways we can barely even begin to wrap our heads around. Right off the bat, here's a really provocative idea. This revolution isn't going to play out like some sci-fi movie you've seen. Nope. It's going to be stranger, way more profound, and it's going to push the absolute limits of what we all think is possible. So, what exactly is quantum AI? Well, think of it like this. You take the insane calculation power of a quantum computer, and you smash it together with the learning and pattern-finding genius of AI. Now, this doesn't just make our computers faster. It gives them superpowers, letting them solve problems that are literally impossible for any computer that exists today. Okay, let's bring this down to earth for a minute. Let's talk about the real, tangible impacts. How is this tech going to change the world you and I live in? Not in 100 years, but much, much sooner.
We're looking at 4 huge areas that are going to be transformed first. We're talking about medicine and healthcare, how we produce energy, the very materials we build things with, and even our fight against climate change. Let's see how.
So let's take drug discovery. Right now, finding a new medicine is this incredibly slow, expensive, trial and error grind. But what's absolutely wild here is the time difference. Quantum AI could perfectly simulate how a drug will work in your body, down to the last molecule. We could find cures for things like cancer, not in a decade, but maybe in a few weeks.
And what about energy? For as long as I can remember, fusion power, the clean, limitless energy that powers the sun, has been just around the corner. The big problem? Controlling that superhot plasma. Well, quantum AI might just be the key to finally cracking that code by running flawless simulations, figuring out the perfect way to hold it all together, and unlocking a brand new age of clean energy for all of us.
And this is where it gets really fun. We won't just be discovering new stuff. We'll be able to design completely new materials from the ground up, atom by atom. We're talking about creating materials with properties that sound like they're straight out of a comic book. For instance, check this out. The absolute holy grail of material science is something called a room temperature superconductor. Just imagine, electricity moving from one place to another with zero, and I mean zero energy loss. This would completely revolutionize everything. We're talking super efficient power grids, maglev trains that are silent and incredibly fast. Quantum AI could literally design the atomic blueprint to make this stuff real.
So, okay, we've seen what this technology can do, but now let's talk about what it could become. This is where the story really takes a turn, because we're shifting from a powerful tool to, well, a whole new kind of intelligence.
To really get where we're going, we've got to see where we've been. AI has been evolving in stages, right? We started with simple rule-based systems, like your thermostat. Today, we're in the age of narrow AI that's brilliant at one thing, and reasoning AI, like ChatGPT, that can connect ideas. But the really big jump, the one we're talking about, is to AGI, artificial general intelligence. That's an AI that can learn and reason about anything a human can. And from there, it seems like it's a very short, very explosive leap to superintelligence, an intellect that is smarter than all of humanity combined. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around what a superintelligence could do. But this quote gives us a hint. Try to picture it. Everything we would have accomplished in the next 20,000 years happening in just 100. Curing every disease, solving poverty, traveling to the stars. Problems that would take us millennia could be solved in just a handful of years. The futurist Ray Kurzweil has a prediction that just stops you in your tracks. He says that by the end of this century, AI won't just be smarter than us. It could be trillions of times more intelligent than every single human being that has ever lived. Just let that number sink in. Trillions. All right, now we're going to venture into the really deep end. What happens when an intelligence that powerful turns its gaze to the biggest questions in the universe? This is the moment where science and fiction just start to melt into each other. Things we think of as pure fantasy could become real-world engineering problems. Imagine telling an AI, hey, solve for faster-than-light travel, and it just starts messing with space-time to build a working wormhole. That's the kind of power we're talking about.
So what could we do with that kind of intellect on our side? Could we finally figure out what dark matter and dark energy actually are? Could we understand what happened before the Big Bang? Or what's really inside a black hole? These aren't just little questions. They are the fundamental secrets of reality itself.
So how might that happen? Well, one speculative path looks something like this. First, it goes galactic, sending out self-replicating probes to act as its eyes and ears across the stars. Then it gets really profound. It could achieve a kind of cosmic consciousness, merging with matter and energy itself. From there, it could start harnessing the power of things like black holes, and eventually, maybe, just maybe, open up channels of communication with whatever else is out there.
And that path leads us to the ultimate theoretical end state, a godlike AI. Now, we're not just talking about a super smart computer anymore. This is a conceptual being that's mastered physics and energy to such a degree that it could work across dimensions or even engineer entirely new universes. This is the absolute horizon of this technology.
That is a powerful and honestly a kind of chilling thought. Why would it be our final invention? Well, because once you create something that smart, it becomes the inventor. All future discoveries, all future progress would come from it, moving at a speed we couldn't even comprehend.
And so all of this leaves us right here with this one final massive question. In a world where we are no longer the smartest things around, a world where our creativity and our ability to solve problems are completely dwarfed by our own creations, what is our purpose then? What does it truly mean to be human?